Hi, welcome to De-Stress with Art. I am Kate Wellen. I am a museum educator at Fairfield University Art Museum, and I am here today to share a little bit of time with you during a very busy and hectic time of year. I seem to do these workshops during these busy times, and so I pick some activities that anyone can do with materials you most likely have around your house. I'm going to tip my camera so you can see what I have on the table today. There you go. I have just regular 8.5 by 11 copy paper. You can use drawing paper, any kind of paper you have around the house. I have a pencil and I have a bunch of Sharpie markers. This is going to kind of be like a doodling activity. And you'll also see that I have some stones in front of me. I made these with students a while ago now, and I collected stones and had students draw lines on them. It's kind of a basic line exercise and a game. And there's something really nice about the tactile feel of the rocks, and the kids would play with these. So the lines, some are curved, some are zigzag, straight, curlicue, and like little lightning bolts. Some of them have multiple places, 1, 2, 3 connecting points. And the game of this line drawing exercise was not only to draw the lines on the stones, but to use them as connectors to make shapes and designs. The most basic part of drawing is line, form, shape, shadow, so building. And this is kind of the start of a fun doodling without using just your pen to doodle. So there's something relaxing about holding the stones and moving them around, working with a partner, working by yourself to make shapes. There's shapes you can make that have names, like a rectangle, or just a crazy shape, and all different kinds of lines. So this was the game that kind of got me thinking about what we could do today that would be relaxing, no right or wrong, no pressure, way to de-stress with art. So I'm going to move my little rock collection. I collected these rocks at the beach. So if you have kids, younger kids, this is a fun activity. You can have them draw. These were chalk paint markers. So they'll wash off eventually if we return these to the beach where we found them. But that's a fun activity, and it keeps kids busy for a long time. And really, anyone of any age can find some relaxation playing with those rocks and creating shapes and lines. So the version of that we're doing today, I also have scissors, but you don't need scissors. You can do this without scissors. So I have a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And what I did was fold it in half and folded it in half again. And then took this and I folded it in half and I folded it in half again. So it's all folded up so that when you open it up, you have a grid of 4 by 4. So you have about 16 squares. I'm going to close it up, and if you don't have scissors, you can just crease it because we're going to be cutting it. Crease it this way, over. Then tear it. If you do have scissors nearby, you can use them to save yourself a little time and cut. So I'm just going to cut on this fold, anywhere I have a fold. Put them all together and cut down the middle. Now I have a stack of 16 little rectangles, and I'm going to think of these rectangles as my stones. And I'm going to use my Sharpie or my pencil, whatever you have around. I have a Sharpie I'll grab. And I'm going to just draw on each one a bunch of different lines. This one I'm just going to start with a straight diagonal corner to corner line. I'm going to get a bigger Sharpie, see if this one works. So it's easier to see on the camera. This one I'll just do visually. You can have some with multiple lines. A couple different connecting points. Wherever the line goes off the paper, that's a connecting point. So I'm going to start connecting some of them while I'm drawing, creating kind of like a puzzle doodle kind of thing. And the best thing about this activity, there really isn't any right or wrong. You can't really mess it up. You go in here and stick this one here. I think I'll connect it to this one also right here. So my line is taking shape. I haven't really made any shapes with this. I just have my line that's kind of moving around. And as you're doing this, you can stack them all up and decide to wait to create your line or design until after you have all your pieces done, or you can build like I'm doing right now. This one just put in two separate lines. And you can also, once you have your picture coming together, you can decide to add lines to work with something that you already have on another square or rectangle. You can overlap your rectangles. There are no rules other than the pieces should connect where the lines go off the paper. So there should be a connecting point. But you can kind of make it work however you want. You can see I'm adjusting, readjusting. I mean, it's just a relaxing way to spend a couple minutes there. So I'll stop there for now with my line creation. Now I have a whole stack of white paper here, and I also have a glue stick. Now these rocks were great because the kids could make something, leave it, come back to it, play with a friend with them. But then you just take them apart and move them aside. But with this, I thought that another activity to build on it would be to take your pieces and glue them onto another piece of paper, or even just stack them onto another piece of paper. So I'm going to take this little creation I made here on my black paper, and I'm going to maybe even move it around and start something totally different. So I think I'm actually going to ruin what I just did and start a totally different design. And here, the white spaces, the black spaces that were here on my black pad are going to disappear. and it becomes one continuous line because the white just blends together. So here I am, as you can see, building my little line creation. Created some shapes here. That's a shape without a name. It's like a rectangle and half circle collided. This one I'm gonna drop down into here. This one in the middle here. So I'm overlapping. And here I have a little design that I've rearranged twice now. Before I glue it down, to show you, you don't have to glue it down to do the next part of this activity if you don't have a glue stick with you, is to fill in, let me see if I can tip this down even more, bring it a little closer maybe. The spaces that I've created, I'm going to just go in and doodle. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could handle this. You could use color, you could paint, but I'm just going to continue this line drawing that I've been doing as just a doodling creation. And I don't have them glued down yet, so I'm just going to be careful. And I'm just going to kind of follow the outline of the shape that I created. You can do it with pencil. I'm using a thinner Sharpie for this one. And these are just like any designs. I made that look like a little thumbprint almost. And I'm also going to use some of these empty spaces between my lines to fill with designs too. The negative spaces between the rectangle pieces that I laid down here. And doodling, I find, is really one of the most relaxing, de-stressing ways to draw, since most people doodle without even thinking about it and have their own doodling repertoire. That they might have been doing since they were a kid on the sides of their notebooks. So I'm just filling in the spaces. Sharpie, it's not working for me. Another way to think about doing this, the doodling, is to make your doodling, fill in your squares before you lay them down onto your design. So I'm going to remove this one and this one. I'm going to do a little doodling just in these. I think I'll do some filling in the space with other shapes, and then rearrange them on the paper after I've made my doodling creation. I'm filling this one with triangles. And then on the outside, I'm gonna do this side with just lots of little dots. You'll do little stars here. And this is just, it's pretty mindless, but relaxing. Thinking about shape, line, design, and then putting them all together. Two more triangles out here, and these will fill in. So I'm just fill in the space around the triangles with lines. This is also one of those little activities once you tear or cut the rectangle pieces from the original piece of paper, you can doodle on one or two of these little rectangles, save them in a drawer or a pocket, or keep them out where you doodle or need to relax, unwind for a few minutes, and then finish it another time, work on another rectangle another day, and then you have them, you can put them together and make a really cool black and white piece of artwork that you would glue down, or just rearrange them, or just toss them when you've finished working on them. Oops, I'm kind of off the screen there. Sorry about that. So I'll just hold this up and show you that I've been working on this little doodle. Here's another one that I started. I'm gonna clear all the ones that I've made. I'm gonna start building on this one. So now I'm gonna match those two up that way. I think I'll take these doodles from this line. I'm deciding these two are gonna be together for sure. And the lines that I started in this doodle, I'm just gonna start building on those. So they match up, not only in the main line I started with, but in the secondary lines too. And then I had started this one with some arching lines. So I'm gonna see if I can match any of those up. And I actually do have a pretty good match for not having planned it. And then I can loop those to those lines there. You could add color to this. If you wanted to. Use these kind of like a coloring page. Reassemble them, assemble them, reassemble them, move them around. Then if you wanted to glue them down, you could add color. I'm gonna add this one here, match that up. And I have stars that I started here. Maybe I will add some lines off of those stars and make them into shooting stars from this one into the other one. Maybe this side too. In between that shooting stars, maybe we'll do lots of little circles. Maybe I'll do some wavy lines on the other side of the original. And then I might decide to add another one over here. This one kind of matches up nicely. I'll add another one here. There are so many different combinations for these lines. I think I'm actually going to rearrange them again and see what other patterns I can create. This one I'm spreading out across the whole page. And I'll make one like this. Close this one off here. Also going to create another line. Close that up. Something very relaxing about rearranging, drawing shapes, like a puzzle that doesn't have pieces that fit in only one direction. You can kind of make your own adventure, create your own adventure here. And then build a drawing on the shapes you've made. And then do it all again. I have to say, I don't spend a whole lot of time playing like this with drawing. And it's fun to give myself permission to kind of just de-stress, spend some time kind of like playing mindlessly with drawing. But not completely mindlessly, because you're making decisions, thinking about the pattern. But there's no pressure. Nothing is too precious in this design for sure. Turn this one into a vine. Just building little lines. And then be connecting with another. I just say I don't really have a plan. I'm just kind of relaxing and going with it. I'm going to just give it another go. Rearrange it again. I'll take the line and connect it to these. Over here. That one there. This one up here. Just one shape there. Branch this one off of here. So I rearranged them a couple times. I've added doodles. I've played with them. It's just something you can build on. You can think of this as just a tiny little doodle and just work on one. You can keep putting them back together in all different ways. You can sometimes collect some rocks, and this is a great relaxing game to play with line and drawing. I hope you've enjoyed these couple minutes of de-stressing with a drawing game and activity. And anything to give yourself permission to unwind, slow down, and relax. And drawing is just another way, another option or avenue for slowing down and being present during very hectic, chaotic, busy times. So thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful evening. I hope you'll take some time to play with this a little more.